Welcome back to this Lenten devotional series based on Mark's Gospel. For day 41, we'll read Mark 15, 6 through 15. Now at the festival, he used to release a prisoner for them, anyone for whom they asked. Now a man called Barabbas was in prison with the rebels who had committed murder during the insurrection. So the crowd came and began to ask Pilate to do for them according to his custom. Then he answered them, "Do you want me to release for you the king of the Jews?" For he realized that it was out of jealousy that the chief priests had handed him over. But the chief priests stirred up the crowd to have him release Barabbas for them instead. Pilate spoke to them again. "Then what do you wish me to do with the man you call the king of the Jews?" They shouted back, "Crucify him!" Pilate asked them, "Why? What evil has he done?" But they shouted all the more, "Crucify him!" So Pilate, wishing to satisfy the crowd, released Barabbas for them. And after flogging Jesus, he handed him over to be crucified. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. How do you see yourself or judge yourself? Often we judge ourselves according to some benchmark of achievement, or we judge ourselves by comparing ourselves with our peers. But the only way to see ourselves clearly is to stand with Jesus and let the contrast instruct us, which is what we see repeatedly in this story. Take Pilate. As he stood there with Jesus, he could see the envy of the priests and the mindless rage of the mob and the innocence of Jesus. But still, Pilate cynically calculated what would serve himself the best, and he acted in a ruthless way. The contrast with Jesus was not flattering. Then there were the religious leaders. They were masters of posing as righteous, but in the presence of Jesus they were revealed as calculating and murderous. Even Pilate could see it. The mob did what mobs do. They gave themselves to cocksure rage, and as they did, they were shown to be utter dupes, and it all happened right there before Jesus. Then there was Barabbas. He stood right next to Jesus as Pilate presented them to the mob. He was a hero for the mob because he had brought violence to bear on the violent Romans. But that day, standing next to Jesus, the fuller picture of who he was became clear. Barabbas literally meant son of the Father. Maybe it was a nickname. But however he came to have the name, that day he suffered by contrast with the Son of the Heavenly Father. And when the mob picked him over Jesus for release, you can be sure he was thanking his lucky stars. Except it wasn't luck. It was the plan of God. And had Jesus been given a choice of saving Barabbas or himself, Jesus would have chosen Barabbas too. Talk about a stark contrast. In one way or another, everyone in the story but Jesus chose themselves, and so they stood in stark contrast to the one who chose them over himself. When we stand before Jesus, we can finally see ourselves and the great need we have for what he alone can give, the capacity to be the daughters and sons of the Father ourselves. Here are a couple of questions to ponder as you look back over these verses. By what standards or people do you usually measure yourself? How do these measures wrongly exalt or diminish you? In your mind's eye, standing next to Jesus, what do you see in yourself? God bless you.